powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the Noon News from Montana's news leader.
A very good Wednesday afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Statewide Noon News. I'm Samantha Harrelson. A big night and a late night across the state, and Montanans headed to the polls for our primary election. The two key races, choosing the Democrat who will face off against Greg Gianforte and the Republican who will take on Tester in November. The story of the night, the U.S. House race, as Kathleen Williams took the nomination, defeating John Heenan by just 1%. MTN's Medarius Babb has the latest. He was with the Williams campaign last night.
The night started over at the Rialto Theater but ended here at Plonk, where it was an exciting time for Kathleen Williams.
So I love it, and thank you, Montana.
Even though Williams was thought to be the underdog coming into this race, she never doubted the power of her supporters.
And we're so thrilled to be the nominee and ready to move forward in the general election against Gianforte.
Williams says the next journey begins by fixing what she believes is broken.
It's about fixing health care, it's about fostering opportunity, it's about returning civil dialogue and integrity to a broken Congress, it's about protecting our environment and outdoor heritage, and it's about rebuilding our place in the world.
Williams plans on keeping her same campaign strategy moving into the general election against Gianforte. In Bozeman, Medarius Babb, MTN News.
And runner-up John Heenan said last night the important thing now is beating Greg Gianforte in November. MTN's Mike Dennison was with Rosendale last night, and he files this report from the U.S. Senate race.
As expected, Matt Rosendale captured the Republican nomination Tuesday to take on Democratic U.S. Senator John Tester this fall. But it was far from a cakewalk. Former State District Judge Russell Fagg of Billings jumped to an early lead last night with a big showing in his home county of Yellowstone. But Rosendale clawed his way back, taking the lead shortly after 10 p.m. and slowly pulling away the rest of the evening. He ended the night with about 34% of the vote to Fagg's 29%, and then took aim at Tester in his victory speech.
John Tester has become part of that corrupt system back in Washington, D.C. He's hanging out with the lobbyists and the elitists. He has literally bought a home in Washington and moved to Washington.
Tester is considered one of the more vulnerable Democratic incumbents in the nation as he runs for re-election in a state that Donald Trump won by 20 points. Tester's camp didn't waste any time going after Rosendale, calling him an East Coast developer who looks out for himself. The two men are scheduled for their first debate June 17th in Whitefish. Rosendale made it clear that he'll campaign as a Trump Republican.
We need to send President Trump some conservative reinforcements who will end the liberal obstruction and work with him to pass his agenda of making America great again.
And that he's in the business of cutting rather than utilizing government.
Folks, I am not running in this race to bring home the bacon. I am running this race to slaughter the hog of big government.
As Matt Rosendale said himself Tuesday night, the hard part is just beginning as he tries to take down Democratic U.S. Senator John Tester this fall. But there won't be much doubt about where he stands on the issues or the contrast between these two candidates. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
Thanks, Mike. And Russ Fagg said last night after his loss, he's thankful for Montanans' support, and he will support Rosendale as he goes up against Tester in November. As for the Green Party, Steve Kelly will advance to the November election. And for more results from your local elections, you can head to our website. Well, important primaries weren't just held in Montana. Tuesday was one of the most closely watched election days before the November midterm elections, with 8 states holding primaries. CBS's Laura Podesta has more on some of the big races from all around the country.
Voters in 8 states went to the polls Tuesday, casting ballots in primary contests that could reshape Congress. Democrats are hoping to flip at least 23 House districts this November to take over the majority next year. Most notable are 7 Republican-controlled House districts in California. In the Golden State, the 2 candidates with the most votes, no matter which party, make it to the general election.
Democrats fight to live to fight another day. They were able to get onto the ballot in the top 2 races in every one of the competitive districts that they wanted to. At least it looks like they've done that.
Women in Iowa and New Mexico are looking to make some history. 28-year-old Abby Finkenauer won the Democratic primary in a Northeast Iowa House district. She's looking to become the youngest woman ever elected to Congress. And a victory in a Democratic primary in New Mexico has set up Deborah Haaland as the heavy favorite to become the first Native American woman to be elected to Congress. Laura Podesta, CBS News, New York.
And continuing in politics, this morning, President Trump signed the VA Missions Act of 2018. The Senate passed the legislation last week by a vote of 92 to 5. The act will provide $5.2 billion to extend the Veterans Choice Program for 1 year while it's being overhauled. The act would also expand the VA's caregiver stipend program for families of disabled veterans. It would also do away with restrictions that limit private and community care to veterans who live more than 40 miles from a VA facility or have to wait more than 30 days for an appointment. Notably absent from today's signing ceremony, Senator Jon Tester, who co-sponsored the bill. Now to Fergus County, where 3 people are dead after a crash on Tuesday. The crash happened just before 6 Tuesday evening on U.S. Highway 87, just south of Grass Range. According to the Montana Highway Patrol, an SUV was traveling southbound when it looked to pass. It then hit another SUV in the northbound lane. 2 males and 1 female died at the scene. No other details have been released. And 1 person died in a rollover crash east of Helena. Dispatchers received a report of a crash on Canyon Ferry Road around 9 a.m. on Tuesday. According to the Montana Highway Patrol, the driver was headed east when the vehicle rolled. The driver was not wearing a seatbelt and was thrown from the vehicle. The driver was transported to a hospital and later died from their injuries. And now turning things over to Ed in the Weather Center. Ed, how are things shaping up out there?
You know, we've got some really warm temperatures, but we also have the threat of thunderstorms over the course of the next few days. So as we take a look, temperatures are going to be running mainly warmer than average, not off the charts, but expect about 5 to 10 degrees warmer than we would typically see for this time of the year. And we do have the potential for strong to severe storms, with hail and wind probably being the biggest threats, but also some areas of heavy rain and frequent lightning also possibilities. We'll show you where to focus on those storms in just a few minutes. And also, even though the flooding has eased up a little bit, we still have some concerns. In fact, a new warning into effect for the Clarks Fork of the Yellowstone. Fast-moving cold water and bank erosion are still problems if you're going to be out recreating close to waterways. We'll talk more about the forecast coming up.
Thanks so much, Ed. In Yellowstone National Park, a second woman at the same location in just 3 days is now recovering from an accidental elk encounter. A cow elk with a calf nearby attacked 53-year-old Penny Bear from Cypress, Texas on Tuesday morning behind the Mammoth Hot Springs Hotel. Bear attempted to back away, but the elk pursued and struck her with its legs in the head and torso. Bear was transported to a nearby hospital. It's common for cow elk to aggressively defend newborn calves and hide them near buildings and cars. Well, thanks so much for joining us here on the Statewide Noon News. More details set for the summit between President Trump and North Korea next week. But before we get to that, Ed has your full forecast. That's coming up right after the break.
You're watching MTN News with Samantha Harrelson, Storm Tracker weather with Ed McIntosh, and Farm and Ranch News from the Northern Ag Network. This is the noon news on Q2, Montana's news leader.